Hello, friends! Welcome back to Untold FM. Today, we've got another beautiful tale for you. We hope you love it. It was a bright Saturday morning when Emily and Jake pulled up in front of their new apartment, their first apartment together. A moving truck stood by, stuffed with boxes, old furniture from their parents' attics, and a few new pieces they'd bought on sale. As they stood hand in hand, looking up at the modest building, the air was thick with excitement, a hint of nerves and a lot of hope. "This is it," Jake said, squeezing Emily's hand. "Our new beginning." Emily smiled, though her heart raced. She had dreamed of this moment. No more roommates, no more parents, just the two of them starting their lives in a place they could call home. But she also knew this was the start of something much bigger than an apartment. It was the beginning of learning how to live together, to grow together, to share the highs and lows of life as partners. The first few days were blissful. They spent hours decorating, unpacking, and rearranging furniture until everything felt just right. Their tiny kitchen became their favorite spot. They had fun experimenting with new recipes, laughing at their failed attempts, and celebrating their small victories, like figuring out how to fix the leaky faucet in the bathroom after watching a dozen YouTube tutorials. In the evenings, they would cuddle on their mismatched couch, wrapped in a blanket, watching movies and talking about their future. Everything felt perfect, and they were on cloud nine, intoxicated by the freedom of having their own space. But soon, reality began to creep in. Emily was a neat freak. She liked everything in its place, the dishes washed and put away, the bed made just right. Jake, on the other hand, was more relaxed. Shoes left in the hallway, socks flung on the floor, and dishes stacked in the sink until he could get to them later. It didn't take long for these little habits to cause friction. One evening, after a long day at work, Emily walked into the apartment to find Jake's gym bag on the living room floor, a pile of dishes in the sink, and laundry scattered in the bedroom. "Jake, seriously?" she snapped. "You said you'd clean this up?" Jake looked up from the game he was playing, slightly taken aback. "I was going to, Em. I just needed a break after work." "You always need a break," Emily muttered, storming into the kitchen to start washing the dishes herself. That night, there was an uncomfortable silence between them. It wasn't just about the dishes or the laundry. It was about their different approaches to living together. Jake felt frustrated, like nothing he did was good enough. Emily felt overwhelmed, like she had to manage everything alone. The tension lingered for a few days, but they both knew they needed to talk. One rainy evening, they sat down in the living room. Emily fidgeted with the edge of the blanket, while Jake leaned forward, resting his elbows on his knees. "I didn't realize how much this was bothering you," Jake began, his voice soft. "But I get it. This is our home, and we should both take care of it." Emily sighed, relieved that he was willing to listen. "It's just, I feel like I'm doing everything sometimes, and it stresses me out. I'm not asking for perfection, but I need you to help me out a bit more." Jake nodded. "I can do that. But maybe we can find a balance? I don't mind cleaning up, but I might not do it the moment you want me to." They talked for hours that night, setting small goals for themselves. They agreed to split the chores more evenly and to be patient with each other when things got messy. It wasn't a perfect solution, but it was a step forward. Just as they began to settle into a routine, a new challenge arose. Money. Living on their own meant bills, rent, groceries, and unexpected expenses, all of which seemed to pile up faster than they had anticipated. One evening, Emily sat down with their budget and realized they were spending more than they were earning. "We need to talk about the budget," she said, her voice tense as she handed the list to Jake. Jake scanned the numbers and sighed. "This looks bad." "It's not just bad, Jake. We're going to run out of savings if we don't cut back." They both knew what that meant. No more takeout on Fridays, fewer nights out with friends, and cutting back on unnecessary spending. It wasn't easy. They missed their little indulgences, and sometimes it felt like all they did was work, pay bills, and sleep. But they got creative. Emily started meal planning, making meals that would last a few days. Jake took on extra freelance gigs on the weekends to bring in a little more income. They found joy in small, inexpensive things, like taking walks in the park, hosting game nights with friends at home, and cooking new recipes together. Months passed, and they began to find their rhythm. The apartment felt more like home, filled with memories. Some sweet, some bittersweet, but all part of their journey. There were still moments of frustration and disagreements, like the time they argued about whether to get a pet, or when they disagreed on how to spend their vacation savings. But each time, they found a way back to each other. They learned that living together wasn't about being perfect, but about being willing to grow, to listen, and to compromise. One evening, after a particularly long week, they sat on the couch, watching the sunset through the small window. The apartment felt warm, cozy, and peaceful. Jake wrapped his arm around Emily, pulling her close. "I think we're getting the hang of this," he whispered. Emily smiled, resting her head on his shoulder. "Yeah, I think we are." As they sat there, in their little apartment that wasn't perfect but was perfectly theirs, they realized that this was what home felt like. Not a place, but a feeling. A feeling of love, patience, and growing together, one step at a time. And in that moment, they knew that no matter what challenges came their way, they would face them together, in their first apartment, where their journey had just begun. And that's the story of Emily and Jake, a beautiful couple and their journey through ups and downs. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe for more such heartwarming tales. We believe every story is beautiful, and if you have a story you'd like to see featured in one of our videos, drop it in the comments below. We'd love to share it in an upcoming video. Thanks for watching.